for me, there's a lot of definitely shift a little bit. I had to turn on the axis a little bit and pivot just because at the time, like I remember our first album, it's changed sonically, I'd say, just because we couldn't afford to have a whole band in the studio. So I was like, can we get a steel guitar on this? Or can I get a fiddle on this? And it's like, hey, we're kind of maxed out on budget for this many songs on an album, which is totally fair. And I'm grateful for all the stuff that we have released and how it sounded. But we're, constantly evolving to be more of that country sound and do the stuff I love. However, at the start of my career, it was not that. It's kind of the heat, is the absolute, this kind of pop country apocalypse, which I'm not hating on, because what it did is it put eyes on the genre. People were like, what's this? Like, who is Hank Williams? Who is Johnny Cash? Because then people were like, okay, what was before this? Because that's what I do when I listen to any type of genre or anything like that. And that's what I did as a kid, as a music listener, is I'd listen to the, I guess early 2000s. And then I'd be like, what inspired this? And you'd go and you listen to someone like ABBA, or you go and you'd listen to, if you're listening to modern rock, you'd be like, what birthed this? And then all of a sudden you're going into the 80s hair metal and stuff like that. And there's always a path you go down when you listen to a genre, because it's so expanded and there's so many different paths you can go down in regard to especially country, because it's born out of that folk and storytelling, and all walks of life, talk about it. So I think for me, there was definitely some pressure to kind of conform to what radio was doing. However, Canadian radio, when everyone in Nashville was basically saying like, hey, this is too country, which is crazy to me, because like looking at Got Your Name on It compared to what I'm doing now, like a Rodeo Queen, or especially this next project that's coming out, is like, it sounds like a song you hear on pop radio in comparison. So when I look at that and what I kind of had to do to begin, I feel like it's fine. I did it right, because it did work out. So there was a certain level of knowledge that was in line and correct. But musically, I wish I stayed a little more true to the course of who I was. But it's something you have to learn, I think.